So for those of us who may have a little more what they call visceral belly fat, or a little more uh, fat around our midsection, we potentially may be in a situation where we may have PCOS, we may have insulin resistance, we may have metabolic syndrome. All these things are connected. And because I know that I'm a pre-diabetic, I know that I have insulin resistance. So that's one of the things that I'm doing. And with taking this semaglutide, I cannot eat any and everything I want to eat just because I'm staying in a calorie deficit. Because elevated levels of glucose actually can turn into fat. Good morning, this is Lifestyle for Living, and I thought I would bring you inside my day so that you could see what I'm doing on my weight loss journey while I'm taking Wegovy. But I told you a lot of times that the main reason why I'm taking Wegovy and I'm on a semaglutide is I am trying to reverse my pre-diabetes. I am trying to lower my A1C. And I tried to do it on my own, and I thought by taking a semaglutide or GLP-1 medication that would help me with the weight loss. But one of the things I want to tell you, that just because you're taking a GLP-1 or semaglutide or tirzepatide type medication, it does not mean that you can eat whatever you want to eat as long as you're in a calorie deficit. This is one of the things I think people need to understand. So this morning when I woke up, my blood sugar was elevated, meaning it was over. If you're familiar with blood glucose levels, you'll know that the normal range for blood glucose is between 70 milligrams per deciliter to 100 milligrams per deciliter. So if you're averaging outside of that range, besides not after just eating or doing some type of physical exercise, meaning your blood glucose is elevated, it could potentially mean that you're in a range of being potentially pre-diabetic or diabetic. Now, I'm not a medical professional. I tell you all the time, I'm a chemist, and so that's why I get into the things of this. But one of the things is, on this journey, I am trying to increase my insulin sensitivity and to lower my A1Cs. Now, have I been perfect with this? Absolutely not. I mean, because I like great tasting food. So this morning when I first woke up, it said my blood sugar was like 120 milligrams per deciliter with the continuous glucose monitor. So I got up, and it's a normal thing for your blood sugar to rise when you first are about to wake up or waking up, because it's your body getting ready to move and be active for the day. So your body has a mechanism to say, hey, I need to increase your glucose to give you some energy for what you need for your muscles, your cells, and your tissues to function through the day. But like I said, you really want to be aiming for 100 milligrams per deciliter or lower. Not lower than 70, but between that range of 70 to 100. So the first thing I like to do when I wake up with an elevated blood glucose level with this continuous glucose monitor, I like to check it. I like to make sure that it's right, because wearing a continuous glucose monitor, your numbers can possibly be wrong. And I think some people need to understand that as well, that just because you're wearing a continuous glucose monitor, it does not mean that it's absolutely correct. There are instances where it may need to be calibrated. So I have this Precision Extra. And this is what I use to manually check my blood glucose to compare it to what my actual continuous glucose monitor is saying. So there's nothing wrong with having a manual glucose monitor. For those who don't want to pay that extra $100+ per month to wear a continuous glucose monitor, you can, when you first wake up in the morning, and not after you've done some type of exercise. You really want to do it like when you wake up. You don't want to do it after you've eaten or drank anything. You want to do it first when you wake up. When you wake up, check your glucose to see what it is. So I'm comparing my manual glucose reading with what my continuous glucose monitor says. Now, I've been up for a while, and I have been walking around but not doing anything like physical exercise, and my glucose is still saying I'm at 120. This is what the continuous glucose monitor is saying. So I want to check it right quick, and honestly, it's not hard. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't like the finger pricks, But in order for me to be conscientious of what I'm doing to make sure I'm on track with doing this, I do it. Now, I will tell you, this continuous glucose monitor, a lot better, because honestly, it is, once you put it in, it lasts for 10 days. You don't have to touch it. I am currently wearing one through Levels Health. I like it. Now, my doctor would not prescribe me one, so I actually pay the out-of-pocket cost for wearing it through Levels Health. I can give you the link below so that you can see if you're interested in wearing it. I do like it because it does show me what, like today, I'm elevated. And so now I got to work through the day to try to get my glucose numbers down. So let's check it right quick. So I'll put the link below for this. It comes with everything that it comes with all of this, but you do have to separately purchase your glucose strips, and I'll put the link for that. I just order these through Amazon. And you do have to also order the little needles that you have to insert. And so what you do is you just take this. Now on here, there are different numbers of how much force will be put when you actually press the button to prick your finger. And I will tell you right now, I have mine set at 2.5. I don't have, some people probably could do 1. Some people probably need to increase to like 5, but manageable for me is the 2.5. So all you're gonna do is unscrew this, and you're gonna put this in until you hear it click. And you'll hear it click, and you'll see that that turns red. So if I actually was to press this button, it actually would inject. But I'm gonna pull it out so you can see. So you can see now it's not red. So to know that I have it in here already, I just put it in and then it turns red. So then what I do now, I don't take the tip off of the needle until actually I put it in. So after I put it in, then I'm gonna take this off like so. And then I'm gonna put the top back on, and you just screw that back on. So of course you wanna also make sure you clean the area that you're doing the fingerprint. So I use a 91% isopropyl alcohol, and all I do is take a cotton ball, put some alcohol on it, then I pick a finger. And I change out. I don't use the same finger. But the good thing about wearing the continuous glucose monitor is I don't have to do this every day. I only do this when I get a reading on my continuous glucose monitor that looks like, okay, I need to check it. Because sometimes even when it says I might be low, I'm like, what's going on? Let me check it. So what I do at that point, I let it dry because it will sting. So what I do at that point, I let it dry, but while I'm letting it dry, I get my strip ready. Now, the reason why I actually got one of these Precision Extras is when I was doing the keto diet many moons ago, I used to actually monitor my ketones. And so this one is one of the dual ones that you can actually monitor ketones and you can monitor your glucose. Now, the ketone strips are a little more expensive, but if you're somebody that's on a ketogenic diet, you can also use this to measure your ketones. But in this case, I'm doing the blood glucose. So I'll get my finger ready. I'll take the strip and get it ready. And it has like some little bars on it, and all I do is take it, put it in, so you can see that it's off, but once you inject this in, I can see it because I don't want to touch the tip. So then I'm gonna take this, the strip, and I'm actually gonna put it on the where the blood is, and you got to get it on there. And again, this is one of those situations where I might not have gotten enough blood. OMG. So not only did I waste the strip, I didn't get enough blood out. So that's one of them examples of what I was telling you that you don't want to do. You want to make sure you get enough blood. So I didn't get enough on the strip for it to actually read, which means, honestly, it's still looking for a number. But what I don't want to do is get a faulty number. So it said error. So guess what? I got to do this again. I got to prick this finger again. I got to clean it and prick it again. So I got to go through the same process again. So I'm not going to take you through that again, but let me just get another one ready and then we'll go through it. hate when I have to use these because they cost money per strip. So when I have to use more than one at a time, I'm kind of not happy. So I gotta take this, put it back in again. There it is. I'm gonna take my cotton ball and I'm gonna use a different finger. I just don't want to use the same finger. And I'm gonna let it dry. And so once it's dry, I'm gonna prick it again. So now I'm pricking my finger again. This is the second time doing this because the first one I didn't get enough blood. Believe me, I'm gonna get enough blood this time. So I'm gonna prick it again. And I gotta get ready. Ow. It does kind of prick you a little bit, but believe me, I'm gonna get enough blood this time. So I did. I believe that's enough. So now I'm ready to finally try to do this reading. And it is a little difficult trying to show y'all what I'm doing at the same time. So anyway, you put your strip on there and you'll hear beep. And then it'll read. And it'll count down. And it's saying I'm at 109. Another thing with the continuous glucose monitor. The continuous glucose monitor is actually delayed, meaning it's showing me what my blood glucose was 10 minutes ago or 10 to 15 minutes ago. So sometimes you can decide, okay, I'm just checking it and I'm not going to mess with the continuous glucose monitor. I just know that I'm 109. So let me go back and look right quick and see what it's saying I am. So I went back and checked my blood glucose in my continuous glucose monitor, and it's saying that I'm 121. So there is a disparity of the difference. I think I read somewhere they said that if it was as close as maybe 6 to 10, that you don't really have to worry about it, because like I just said, your continuous glucose monitor, what it's showing you is actually delayed, meaning it's 10 minutes ago what your blood glucose was, because it's actually running through your system. So that's one of the things you have to take in mind when you're wearing a continuous glucose monitor, is that your number is not showing you the exact number that minute. It's an actual delayed response to your continuous glucose monitor that's showing you the number that it was maybe 6 to 10 or 15 minutes before. So just want to take you through my morning. Like I said, I woke up, my continuous glucose monitor said that I was elevated. I actually did the handy dandy finger prick to make sure that it was reading correctly, and it is elevated. So even though this says 109 on the manual and my CSM says that it's 121, that's telling me I'm high. So I'm going to go through the process today of trying to keep it lower. And one of the things is you can do different things to lower your glucose throughout the day. But one of the things too I want to talk about really quick is some people think that just because you're taking a GLP-1 or a semaglutide, you could eat anything you want. Well, if you're a person like me who's a pre-diabetic, or you have metabolic syndrome, you could have PCOS, those type things let you know that you can't eat just what you want, because elevated levels of glucose actually can turn into fat. So for those of us who may have a little more what they call visceral belly fat, or a little more fat around our midsection, we potentially may be in a situation where we may have PCOS, we may have insulin resistance, we may have metabolic syndrome. All these things are connected. And because I know that I'm a pre-diabetic, I know that I have insulin resistance. So that's one of the things that I'm doing. And with taking this semaglutide, I cannot eat any and everything I want to eat just because I'm staying in a calorie deficit. I have to be conscientious that if I eat something that's going to spike my glucose and keep it up, that's fighting against me. So, you will hear a lot about people saying it's very hard for people with PCOS or people with insulin resistance, for pre-diabetics and those of us who may be in this realm, to lose weight. So if you're not seeing that you're losing the weight as readily or as quick on a semaglutide or GLP, you have to actually look at several other factors that's taking place. And I heard somebody say the other day, and I think this is a good thing for us to look at, is that we should not be so focused on the weight loss. we should be focused on the lifestyle changes that we're implementing in order to equate to the weight loss. So I just want to come on real quick and show you some of the ins and outs. You know, this thing is not a simple science. It's not a one size fit all. We all have to look at ourselves individually to see what works and what doesn't work. So just want to give you a quick insight to my day. I'll give you some more insights as I go along. Thank you for watching. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead, like and subscribe, and I will probably try to bring you more into my world. And you can see what I'm trying to do to lose weight on this Wegovy. I took a Wegovy 0.5 shot. I'm actually almost through the week. I haven't had any side effects, which is great, because if you also know, you know, I went through that phase where I got really, really sick and I was really hesitant about doing the 0.5, but I went ahead and did it. And so far this week, it's been good. And I just want to bring you into my day and what I do during the week. Talk to you later.